What's up guys, Bluddshed here, bringing you the Kanai Cube video for Diablo 3, patch 264 and season 16. Now nothing is actually changing here in this patch, but I haven't done one of these videos in 3 years, and I get lots of requests on streams for an updated guide, since I think the switch caused a lot of new players to come to the game, or just people are always returning every day, so let's get into it. All right, if you don't have the cube, you want to head over to Act 3, Ruins of Sescheron. What you're gonna do is you're gonna run all the way into one of the back corners, whether it's up here, the top right, or the bottom left. Typically, those are the main areas it's gonna be. What we're looking for is the Elder Sanctum, and it ended up being kind of in this area. So sometimes it could be up here or anywhere. So just look for the Elder Sanctum, you wanna zone in. And the same thing, you want to go all the way to the back corners and look for the actual cube itself. Now, if you're doing this in a season and you have friends with you, don't click the cube until everyone gets there. It's really important because they won't get credit for it. They have to be in the actual zone for that. So here we are in the Kanai Cube room. It was down this path and through here. And you just literally click on the cube and you're able to use it from there. Like, it automatically registers, you don't have to do any quests or anything like that. Now that you have the cube, you'll see it in all of the major town areas, and you can use it freely. You can use this at level 1, you can use this at level 70, doesn't matter. So let's go over the recipes here and talk about them in detail. You are gonna have to grab this every single Diablo season because it's like you're starting a fresh character. But once you have it, you can access it from all the major towns. So let's go ahead and cover the recipes from here. Recipe 1, extract legendary power. Now, whenever you extract a legendary power, you can use it in the cube. You can see I have all the ones here, and I can pick any of these. And then now I have Hexing Pants, now I have Frostburns. When you extract it, it always gives you the max value available. If you notice, like this Trigolfang here is 184 in the orange text. It's 184 out of 200. If I were to extract it in the cube, then I have 200%. Another thing, if you have low level legendaries, like let's say you get a legendary that is level 26 or 27 or even level 1, doesn't matter, no matter what, you can extract it and put it in the cube. So it allows for some cool strategies or some crossover when you're leveling. Your leveling process isn't totally wasted because you can actually use those items later and put them and fill your cube with them. The next one we have is the Law of Cool Reforge Legendary. So you could literally take a pair of gloves and completely get a brand new version. Now it does remove your augment on your gloves. It's like it's giving you a brand new item, right? So you hit transmute and it flips it, and boom, now you have a new pair of gloves. This one has cooldown and it rolled with 100% affix. So it's kind of good, right? Especially if I was looking for cooldown and crit and all that stuff. So you can see how it works, but what it does take is considerable resources. It takes 5 act materials, and you get those by running bounties. Now, bounties are time consuming. Not that many people like doing bounties. You have to do them in all, if you have to do a full clear, all 5 acts, because they ask you for crafting materials across all the different acts. So typically we only spend the extra time to reroll weapons or jewelry, something that's really, really hard to get. If you need like 4 stat line gloves, for instance, like these have 3 stats on it. A lot of us need 4 stat line gloves. So like these gloves right here have double crit, attack speed, and cooldown. And then you would just keep re-rolling it that way, for instance. So you only do this for stuff that's really tough that you haven't gotten in a week. Just wait. You know, I would just keep using blood shards and other methods, and then only use this for like weapons and jewelry. Like I said, maybe offhands, just some stuff that's really tough to get. Different classes have different requirements. It won't retain the ancient or primal property either. So if you have a primal or an ancient and you put it in here and re-roll it, it's gonna give you a brand new one. The Hope of Cain. The Hope of Cain's really amazing, especially early season. You'll probably get to 25 DBs after you do a little bit of rifting early season, and you can actually you can score an ancient item pretty early on. And just make sure you're doing the right item type for what your class is or exactly what you're looking for. I'm gonna put a link to a blood shard calculator in the description. What this calculator shows you is not just Kadala's odds, right? These are all the items and the odds you can get from Kadala while rolling blood shards. It also shows you the item pool for upgrading legendaries, and it actually shows you the type. So a lot of veterans know this, but new players have no idea. So for instance, belts, if you want a bar belt for your build, and you can't find a Cassius anywhere, you're upgrading belts nonstop, It's because it's an actual mighty belt. If you scroll down here, Barb has a specific type of belt called a mighty belt. And that is the same thing for a lot of classes. Wizards have helms, witch doctors have ceremonial helms and ceremonial daggers. So just bookmark this, and before you start rolling stuff and you're unsure of the type, just make sure you're rolling the right thing, because you could waste a lot of materials, especially if you're new, looking for something that is not there, right? Here's an example of 2 belts. And let's say you just have some yellow belts in your inventory, you try to upgrade them, they can be totally different things. And the class items usually will roll with class specific stats too, like maximum fury or arcane power on crit. And you drag the item you want of the right type, you hit transmute, and you'll get a random legendary of the mighty belts or whatever specific item, right? I need a specific belt here, so I'm gonna fill it and put a regular belt and see what we get. And we got a gold wrap. So they're completely different things. This is the most effective tactic to get an item you don't have. Once you have that item, then the Reforge Legendary, you can flip it over and over as long as you have the materials. This will be more effective, right? So if you need one, this will give you even a crappy one, and then you can take that crappy one and reroll it this way. The next item we have is the Skill of Nilfer, convert set item. So you can take an item like these pants, goodbye ancient pants, hit the fill button, and you get a random legendary of that type. This is really effective early season when you have like say 2 or 3 pairs of gloves, or you get 3 pairs of 3 helms and you're like, I don't need 3 helmets, man, right? So you can actually get different items of that set and fill out the set quicker. One thing to note, resulting items cannot be ancient. So if you're looking for an ancient version, you're gonna have to wait. But this is really effective for like necklaces. Some classes have class amulets like Sun Wukong and Akan Crusaders, and you can actually get like double crit element really easily, or you can get like those quadfecta gloves. That's how I got these ones, 4 stat line gloves, really easy. So it's super powerful even if you can't get an ancient. For also, the set has to be 3 or more, I believe. You can't do it with any of like the Focus and Restraint, the Traveler's Pledge. The Work of Cthon allows you to take level rank 25 plus Gem of Ease and make it like a level 1 item. So like just for a joke, or it's just for whatever. So if you put this in the cube and you hit transmute, now you can equip this at level 1. So you can make like a level 1 set and play through the game. And yeah, have fun. You can do the Darkening of Tristram, like do a full transmog. So you can see the required item level is 1. The next recipe, you can convert gems. Any 9 gems. These are like the basic main stat type gems. Any 9 gems plus the essence. You get these essence from Act 2, Squirt the Peddler, and you can buy them from her for $500,000, man. It's pretty cheap considering gold's easier to come by these days. We're gonna go over here and I'll show you how it works. You basically take 9 gems you don't want, like I don't want these Flawless Royal Amethysts. I actually need, let's say, intelligence gems with topaz, and you put the topaz here and it'll take this type and turn it into topaz, and boom, just like that. Now I have more and the other ones are gone. You can do it forever. So like now I have 14 of these. You can only do 9 at a time, but if I want, say, diamonds, put the diamond in there and then boom, now I got diamonds. So it's pretty easy stuff, and it's really good if you're playing like a solo self-found playthrough, or you just, sometimes you're starving for gems. The next 3 recipes, like how you can convert gems, you can convert your crafting materials. So this one uses parts, dust, and crystals. So these 3 are basically the same. All you do is decide what you want to get rid of. So if you look at my materials here, I have a boatload of reusable and arcane, but I don't have as much veiled. So I want to get rid of some reusable or arcane dust. You just hit the fill button, what you want to get rid of. And you use a yellow item to increase your veiled, you use a blue item to increase your dust, and you use a white item to increase your white items, right? So I don't have any yellows on me. I can go to Kadala and roll some things I need, maybe, and use one of these as bait, or I can actually go to the vendor. And you can't salvage vendor items, but you can use them for the cube recipe. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's scroll over. Bring everything back up. So I want to get rid of my arcane dust as I have way too much, 120,000, and I need more veiled. I'm just OCD, it's not working for me. Let's go ahead and put a yellow in here. So it'll take your dust and convert it into yellow. Kind of the same concept as the gems, right? How they worked, right? So I have 91217, transmute 91317. And again, you can just use the vendor yellows, or as you're rolling at Kadala, you can do this a little bit here and there throughout the season to keep it balanced. The last recipe we have is arguably one of the most important recipes. That's Kel'Thuzon's Despair, Augment Ancient Item. So it has to be ancient. So we have an ancient item right here. You put it in the cube and you decide what main stat you want. You can only do main stat, you can't do diamonds. So amethyst will give you vitality, emerald will give you dex, rubies will give you strength, and topaz will give you intelligence. Since we're necro here, we're gonna do intelligence. And you get 5 main stat per legendary gem that you sacrifice. This gem is destroyed in the process. So this is a 79. Put that in the cube and we'll get 5 times 79 main stat. You hit transmute and boom, now you can see we have 395 intelligence on the item. You can also overwrite the current augment. So if you want to put a stronger one later or a different one, you totally can. It's not permanent. If you remember, if you re-roll it, you lose the augment or anything like that. So as for what gem levels you should use for augmenting, I would use 70 gems for super off meta, like weaker, lower end builds, custom builds. 80 baseline minimum for pretty much everything else. Like any normal build that you use, any working build should have no problem doing GR80 these days. And then I'd replace them later on with 100 to 120 augments, right? Later on, so that 80 start is a nice bump in power, and I would replace them later for sure. Like it's not permanent, it's not that hard to get to those gem levels. No matter what you do, I find it to be better to be 20 gap. So if you do 90s, then do 110s later. Just that 20 gap is really solid, I feel. You pretty much always just want to do the main stat of your character. So like Barbs and Crusaders do strength, for instance, and then all the intelligence classes, Necro, Witch Doctor, Wizard do intelligence, right? But there are some builds where there's supports and stuff. So just refer to individual build guides, but typically you're gonna do your main stat like 99% of the time. And that's pretty much it. This actually went longer than expected. Hope you guys enjoy the content. Hopefully you learned something new. Make sure to follow me up above at twitch.tv/bloodshed. I stream there 6 days a week, all season long, preseason, postseason, all the seasons. Shout out to my patrons and Twitch subs for allowing me to be here every day. This is the Bloodshed, and I'm out of here. Peace.